This girl right here is Brook Wells, the 5th fittest woman in the world, a 9-time CrossFit Games athlete, author, and the co-founder of the performance wellness brand While on Earth. But a few years ago, things were different. Back in 2021, well, that year changed everything. A packed arena with 10,000 fans on the edge of their seats. On the floor, a lone figure approaches a barbell loaded with 190 pounds. It's the final night of the 2021 CrossFit Games, and Brook Wells is about to attempt a snatch. She grips the bar, takes a deep breath, and begins to lift. But something goes wrong. In a split second, her elbow dislocates under the immense weight. This moment could have been the end of her CrossFit career, but for Brook Wells, it was just the beginning of an incredible comeback story. Let's rewind. Our story begins in Missouri on July 14th, 1995. Brook Wells enters the world, but she's not alone. 8 minutes later, her twin sister Sydney joins her. From their very first breath, competition is in their blood. Growing up, the Wells sisters were always trying to outdo each other, and this competitive spirit shaped Brook's childhood. Whether it was gymnastics, track and field, or even schoolwork, she and Sydney were constantly pushing each other. Brook jokes about it now. She was a collegiate athlete, and she got all the tutors. If she ever beat me on a test, it was like, okay, you have tutors, and I don't. But it wasn't just about sibling rivalry. Ben Wells, their father, instilled his daughters a deep appreciation for physical fitness and hard work. He wanted them to understand that being active wasn't just about having fun. It was about becoming the best version of yourself. Fast forward to Brook's teenage years. Like many kids her age, she wanted to join a regular gym where all her friends hung out, but her dad had other ideas. He saw right through her plan. "I know what you're going to do with your gym membership," he told her. "You're just going to socialize the whole time, so you can have a CrossFit membership, or you can have nothing." It wasn't the answer young Brook wanted to hear, but faced with the choice between CrossFit and no gym at all, she reluctantly chose CrossFit. Little did she know, this decision would change the course of her life. At first, Brook saw CrossFit as a way to supplement her track training. She was a talented hurdler in high school, specializing in the 100 and 300 intermediate hurdles. She planned to pursue track in college, but something unexpected happened. She fell in love with CrossFit. The intensity, the variety, the challenge, it all spoke to Brook's competitive nature. She found herself spending more and more time at the CrossFit box, pushing her limits and discovering new strengths. Soon, she was faced with a choice: pursue track in college or go all in on CrossFit. It wasn't an easy decision. The track offered the security of a college scholarship and a well-trodden path. CrossFit was still a relatively young sport with an uncertain future. But Brook saw something in CrossFit that excited her. She saw potential, not just in the sport, but in herself. It was a bold move, but one that would soon pay off in ways she could have never imagined. In 2014, at just 19 years old, Brook made her first appearance at a CrossFit regional competition. She wasn't competing as an individual yet. She was part of a team called 540 Beefy, from CrossFit 540. It was a taste of high-level competition, and it left her hungry for more. The following year, 2015, Brook decided to compete as an individual. She entered the Central Regional, going up against seasoned athletes with years more experience. No one expected much from this 19-year-old newcomer. But Brook Wells had other plans. She won the Central Regional, her first individual regional appearance, and she took first place. It was a statement. Brook Wells had arrived on the CrossFit scene, and she was here to stay. That win earned her a spot at the CrossFit Games, the Super Bowl of CrossFit, where the fittest athletes from around the world compete for the title of fittest on Earth. In her debut Games appearance, Brook finished 16th. For most rookies, that would be cause for celebration. For Brook, it was just the beginning. The next year, 2016, Brook returned with a vengeance. She placed third at the Central Regional, securing another spot at the Games. This time, she was not content with just showing up. She wanted to prove she belonged among the elite. And she did. Brook finished 6th at the 2016 Games, with 6 top 5 finishes and 1 event win. It was a breakout performance that put the entire CrossFit world on notice. Brook Wells wasn't just a promising athlete anymore. She was a legitimate contender. But the road to the top is never smooth. In 2017, Brook faced her first major setback. After her impressive 6th place finish the year before, expectations were high. Many thought this could be her year to reach the podium. But instead, Brook finished 14th. It was a disappointing result. But more importantly, it exposed weaknesses in her training. Brook had built a reputation as the strong girl, dominant with barbell, but struggling in endurance events. It was a wake-up call. Brook realized that to reach the top, she needed to become a more well-rounded athlete. She made the decision to join Ben Bergeron's team, the coach behind multiple CrossFit champions. Training with Bergeron meant working alongside some of the best in the sport, including 2-time Games champion Katrin Davidsdottir. It was a humbling experience, but one that pushed Brook to new heights. People at my gym call me Cardio Brook because it's just so new, she said of her transformed training. I'm not scared when I see a longer run. I'm not scared when I see muscle ups in a workout. I've worked so hard on everything that I'm bad at, I'm really not scared of anything anymore. This new, more balanced approach paid off. Brook finished 8th at the 2018 Games and 16th in 2019. But 2020 would bring challenges no one could have predicted. The pandemic turned the CrossFit season upside down. The traditional Games format was scrapped, replaced with a 2-stage competition. Brook rose to the challenge, finishing 5th in the online qualifier and earning a spot as one of just 5 women to compete in the in-person finals. The quote, strong girl had become a true all-around competitor, capable of excelling in any challenge thrown her way. But the best was yet to come. As 2021 dawned, Brook felt stronger and more prepared than ever. She sailed through the Open and quarterfinals, then secured her game spot with a 3rd place finish at the Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge semifinal. Heading into the 2021 Games, Brook was brimming with confidence. This was her year. She was ready to fight for a podium spot. And then, in an instant, everything changed. The packed arena, the 190-pound barbell, the horrifying moment when Brook's elbow gave way. In that split second, years of hard work and dreams of glory seemed to evaporate. Brook was forced to withdraw from the competition. Her elbow was completely dislocated. She would need total reconstruction surgery. For many athletes, this would be a career-ending injury. The road back from such a severe setback is long, painful, and uncertain. Some never make it back at all. But Brook Wells isn't just any athlete. As she lay in the hospital bed, her arm in a cast, Brook made a decision. This was not the end. It was just another challenge to overcome. The journey back was grueling. Months of rehabilitation, countless hours of physical therapy, and the slow, painstaking process of rebuilding strength in her arm. There were moments of doubt, days when the pain seemed too much to bear. But Brook persevered. She leaned on her faith, her family, and her unwavering determination. Slowly but surely, she began to see progress. Just 9 months after her devastating injury, Brook did something many thought impossible. She qualified for the 2022 CrossFit Games. Let that sink in. Less than a year after total elbow reconstruction, she was back competing against the fittest athletes on the planet. But Brook wasn't satisfied with just making it back. She wanted to prove she was better than ever. At the 2022 Games, she started slow, sitting in 24th place after the 3rd event. But then something remarkable happened. Brook began to climb the leaderboard. Event after event, she showcased not just her physical recovery, but a mental toughness forged in the fires of adversity. By the final day, she was in contention for a top 5 finish. And in the end, Brook Wells finished 5th overall at the 2022 CrossFit Games. This was an incredible comeback, and Brook's star has continued to rise. She's become an inspiration to athletes and fans around the world, a living example of what's possible when you refuse to give up. Today, at 29 years old, Brook Wells stands as one of the most recognizable and respected figures in CrossFit. She is no longer just the strong girl or the young phenom. She's a battle-tested veteran, a comeback kid. She's a legitimate contender for the title of fittest woman in the world.